Okay, if there is one takeover for the workshop today, one takeover, if you just learn one thing today and only one thing, this should be the one. And it is get a cloth to clean your lens. Every time you're going to take a photo, every single time, take the cloth and give it a bit of a clean to your lens. And I'm going to tell you why. Let's make a quick exercise here. I'm going to show you my light over there, and you can see straight away how the image is all smudged. It's not great. Every time you touch your lens, every time you put it on your pocket, it gets dirty. And we don't realize. We feel like the quality of my photo here is going to be good enough, but you're missing out all this quality. So take one of the clothes. Costs nothing. You can have it in your pocket. Give it a bit of a clean here and there, and you will see results straight away. You can see results straight away, and it's quite impressive. And it's just the simplest thing in the world. It sounds silly, but I've seen so many times when people are struggling with the quality of the photos, and it's just because the lenses are dirty. So welcome to the workshop. We are having a quick hands-on taking photos so we can have better qualities on selling our products. How are we going to do that today? Well, we're going to be taking photos to 3 kind of products. A small one, my Matryoshka friend over here. We're going to be taking a photo on a helmet, which is slightly bigger. And then we're going to jump into a jacket, which I have over here. That is a bit of a larger setup. So we need to run through 3 different kind of setups. So how are we going to do this whole session? First, we're going to do the setup on each one of those, depending on the size of the product. Then we're going to deal with the camera settings. We are going to be using the app on the mobile. We don't have any specific apps or fancy equipment to take the photos. Then we're going to go and jump into the photo itself, how we're going to compose that to make it look nicer. And to finish up, we're going to edit the photo to give a bit of a punch to that. So let's start straight away. The first thing we're going to need, I have found a white box, regular white box, and some white paper. Why do we like using plain colors? Well, when we take photos with plain colors on the background, the algorithm on eBay, on any search engine, it will read the image much better. It will be able to identify what is that product that you're selling, and that will help you ranking your photo and showing your product to potential customers. So we're going to take that approach today. We're going to have this plain background. Let's start with the white. And what we're trying to emulate here is trying to have the backdrop together with the base of the photo. So we are trying to make a little like a studio over here. What is that we need to take into consideration? The lighting is probably, after cleaning the lens, one of the most important things is the lighting. Because we're going to be running this workshop on the mobile only, we need to be aware that the size of the lens is very, very small. So that lens needs a lot of lighting to be able to work properly. So ideally, I always suggest let's find a window and take the photo right next to the window. So this setup, it will be good to have it next to the window, if that is possible on a daylight. Why is that? Well, once you have the lighting issue of your head, then you don't have to set up a lot of lighting and a lot of things. Natural light is free and it's awesome. This time around, we're going to be, my window is right over there. My windows are fully open. So I will start my setup over here. So I will get a bit of tape. Gaffer tape is type. Right there. Why not? I'm aware that my window is over there. So let me tape that in over there. Okay. I will turn this light away a little bit so we can see properly how it looks. And I'm going to be jumping between the mobile and the camera, so I hope I don't get people dizzy around here. My product over here. Common mistake is try and get the product too close to the background, and that it's not great because I'm trying my camera to make a separation between the product and the background. So I'm going to move it slightly away, and I'm going to use this time around a light. This is a regular light. I love using clip lights because it's very convenient to put it, if you have something where to clip your light. There's always somewhere to clip the light, so that's why it's so handy. Let's jump into the mobile, but before we jump into the mobile, we want to use the mobile, in this case, upside down. The reason is because another common mistake is taking the photo from the top. If we take the photo from the top, it's okay, but it won't give you the details you want to give your potential customer, the feeling that they have the product on their hand. So I'm going to jump back in, and I'm going to move my mobile rather upside down. My lenses are eye level with my product. Well, this product has eyes, but you know what I mean. Let me jump into the mobile so you can see. So it's upside down at the moment, but once I take the photo, it will be much better. Okay, so it is a bit dark. It is a little bit dark. So I'm gonna turn my light on over there. Okay, so I have my light over there. I can see an improvement. It might be a bit too harsh. One of the other common mistakes is try and use my light straight into the product, which is not great. It's going to give a bit of a harsh feeling to the product. So what I want to do is try and diffuse this light. I can either diffuse my light by using an extra piece of paper. By the way, goes without saying that if you have an extra pair of hands while you're taking the photos, that's always really helpful. So I'm going to jump into my mobile again so you see the difference between no lighting and that which is my diffused light. So I'm going to adjust. Maybe I need a bit more lighting actually over there. I can move my lens over there. Okay. And you will see, hold on, let me get my lighting right. Once you get your lighting right, then you are doing a lot for your mobile to get a nicer photo. So I will get Rene, which is helping us over here today. Rene, would you mind helping us over here? This side, and let's hold this piece of paper so we can diffuse the light a little bit here. Okay, Let's try again. So I'm going to put full light over here, and I'm going to diffuse it with the paper. So my product is behind this paper. Let me jump over here so you see exactly what's happening. Okay, oh, I like that. So I'm going to take my photo over here. Right, thank you, Renee. So that is my photo over there. We can zoom in a little bit. And then, well, we can see the details on the photo, especially if we are selling online. We want to have as many details on the photo as possible. Let me jump into a second angle of that. So I can see this one has a bit of a crack. Okay. This approach, by the way, in which you can see my hands, is quite helpful, especially if the product, it doesn't have, if you want to show the size of the product. So some people put some coins, or a banana is very useful as well to see the real size of it. Over here, I'm going to show my hands just to demonstrate there is a bit of a crack on the product. And also take advantage of my lighting here to take an extra photo. One thing that I will suggest is not using the zoom, the digital zoom on the camera. So once you start zooming in digitally, your image is going to start getting noisy. Over here is working quite nicely because we have nice lighting. But my suggestion is if you need a closer view, then get closer to the product. And also get the focus. The way to get the focus on those is just to have a bit of a tap on the mobile, and it will get the focus there. Okay, so maybe I'm going to take a third photo from over here, showing a bit of a setup. How would they look on the coffee table over there? You can see on this example how the focus on the mobile works. So if I click, I think you can see if I click on the front matryoshka, my focus is over there, and you can see the one at the back is blurry, which is great because it gives me a bit of depth. And I can swap to the other one as well, and boom, take the photo. So if you have something in the background, that will give a sense on the side of a product. It will give a sense of what is that you're showing, on how you're gonna, how it's gonna look on the coffee table. But also, it will give your image, it's gonna look much better. So we have few photos from the small product. I have good time still. Okay, let's jump into the edit to see how we're gonna fix those. Okay, so I have few photos here. Let me go to the first one, which is that, and I'm just going to edit this photo. This is an iPhone, but all the mobiles, they all have, on principle, they work the same. They will give you options to adjust exposure. They will give you options to adjust brilliance and the highlight, the shadows, contrast. Obviously, I'm not going to go through all of them, but we will go to the basic ones. So I can adjust my exposure, which is the amount of light, but you have to be careful on the backdrop or in the bright side of a photo not to overdo it. Because if you overdo it, you start losing details on the photo. So let's push my exposure a little bit. The shadows, you can see on the left side of a photo that if I push my shadows, it will benefit a lot. Nice. And there's plenty of colors in this matryoshka. So I'm gonna push my vibrance a little bit over there. Sounds good. And then I can crop my photo. So let's say I want to try square. And let me show that part of my matryoshka so that I can have my backdrop fully white. So we have that photo over there. That works quite nicely. If we want to work on the other photos as well, we can adjust. This is a bit of a play. You have to have a bit of a play with this adjustment. What I won't advise is to use the pre-settings on your camera, because those settings, they are a bit too harsh and they will make your product look different of what they really is. So I will suggest stay away from those and instead try and adjust. You can spend a bit of time with the exposure and shadows, and you will master in no time. And let's go back to that one. I'm gonna adjust. I'm gonna put some brilliance here. Very nice. Some shadows. On this photo, I can see it's a bit of a blue one, but bluish. The warmth. I'm gonna move it slightly warmer here, and a bit of exposure, and you can get a very nice photo over there, and it will show you nicely a bit of a product and how it works. Let's move to the next one because it's getting a bit. We're running out of time. So now we have the basics. So what we're trying to do is replicate that into other products that are a bit bigger in size. So for that, we're gonna use my helmet over here. Lucky that my table is also white, so we can use that as my base. And I'm gonna move myself to the other side to take the photo. This time around, I want to separate the base to the background. And the way I want to do this is I'm going to use a flag. You can use a piece of paper. This is what we call a flag, which is just a square that it will give us a bit of a background. It's just it's a piece of fabric on a frame. I'm going to take a photo of the helmet, and because I want this helmet to really pop, I'm going to use my light rather than over here. I'm going to use it on the back of my photo. So so I'm going to put my lighting over there to make it. You can see the difference there, how it pops. I think it looks quite nice. Let's put a black background, and let's get René to help us over here again. Thank you, René. Okay, so we have that one over there. Let me just jump. There's a lot of cables over here to make this happen. And can we get the backlight, please, René, on? Okay, over there. Can you move it slightly over here? Look at that. That looks quite nice. Am I covering my main camera? No. Okay, so focus, just tap on your screen and take the photo. With this light, we are separating our product to the background. And it really, really pops. We can go into details over there as well, get closer, and you can see details on the light. All those details make a massive difference on how you portray. Let's see how you portray your product. So yeah, I think that looks really nice. Thank you, René. Again, a bit of help, extra pair of hands is always really, really helpful. Let me move all my stuff away from here. And we go into the edit. That photo looks, I'm so happy with that photo. Let me add a bit of a, it doesn't really need a lot. And you can see how much, the more time you spend on your setup, the less time you spend on trying to fix the photo in post-production or in the edit room. So that is, I'm quite happy with that one. I should put it more like in the middle. Let me zoom it in over here a little bit. And yeah, that's the proper photo for the helmet. Right, so we have created a quick photo. You can see it's been with basic natural light. We have the extra light we're using, we normally call it a practical light. And those are lights that are used to give a bit of depth or a bit of to be cheeky with the photo if you want. I think I do have 2 minutes to take a photo on the jacket. It's very, very common on clothing, and I've seen that so many times when you're going to sell a shirt or a jacket that you put in a hanger and put it by the door at the top to make it, to try and show the whole thing. It will work much better if you try and find a place where to put the jacket. This is a classic valet stand, they call it. And if you are selling a lot of clothing, I think it's definitely worth the investment because it makes the product looks much nicer. Just to put it over there. Let me jump into my camera again. This is just a regular wall now, my white wall. So the setup means a lot. It means that you can show details. It means they can pop in and say, okay, this product is almost like I'm holding the product if I want to buy it. And again, once you have your photo ready, the one you like, on this one I'm quite happy as well. It doesn't need a lot of editing. It doesn't need a lot of editing. I'm gonna just try and keep my vibrance so I can show the color that is more similar to the one I'm watching in real life. So those 3 techniques, a small thing that you can set up, move it next to the window. If you have a bit more space, obviously use the table and play around with that. But if you need to take photos on bigger things, it's great to have a plain color wall to work with. We won't be able to be taking question and answer, I'm afraid, because we are 2 minutes about to finish the workshop. But I really hope that you have some takeaways from the session. Remember the main takeaway when we started: keep the lens clean all the time. Keep it clean all the time, because that's going to make the biggest difference on your photos. Thank you very much for joining in, and I hope that was worth it.